Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news tonight with me, Frank Pereira, on Rajya Sabha television. We're going to get you all the latest updates from around the country. But first up, a look at the latest headlines. India's longest-range nuclear-capable ballistic missile Agni 5 successfully test-fired again. Agni 5 can be launched from a canister from anywhere in the country. BJP bigwigs, including Prime Minister Modi, address rallies across Delhi. BJP goes to the Election Commission complaining of derogatory comments by the Aadmi party against its chief ministerial candidate. Aadmi party promises cheaper, uninterrupted power and strong measures for security of women in its manifesto for the Delhi elections. Opposition rubbishes the document as unrealistic. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon asks Pakistan to step up efforts to protect religious minorities and combat terrorism. Death toll in yesterday's suicide attack outside a mosque up to 61. And top seed Serena Williams wins her 6th Australian Open and 19th career Grand Slam title, beating Russia's Maria Sharapova. Our top focus on the bulletin this evening. India today successfully test-launched Agni 5, its longest-range ballistic missile for the third time off the Odisha coast. Significantly, the nuclear-capable missile was launched from a canister, giving it higher road mobility and making it ready for launch from anywhere in India. Here's more.
A successful three-stage solid propellant test fire from a canister at Wheeler's Island. Another feather in the cap for India's defence preparedness, taking navigation and guidance, warhead and engine to a new level. On induction into the forces, Agni 5 will give India the ability to hit back or have second strike capability even after a nuclear strike. With a range of 5,000 kilometers, the nuclear-capable missile can carry a warhead in the east as far as all of China and in the west all over Europe. The missile travels faster than a bullet and can carry 1,000 kilograms of nuclear weapons. The canister test means Agni 5 gives India the ability to launch nuclear weapons from land at will from anywhere in India. It can be launched only on direct orders from the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister, President, Defence Minister and Defence Watchers hailed the achievement.
There should be more successes, DRDO, more activity and more active final solution.
The test fire was also a supercharged farewell gift of sorts for Avinash Chandar, who now retires as head of the Defence Research and Development Organisation. More basic versions of Agni 5 have been successfully tested in 2012 and 2013. The DRDO says it will likely be inducted into the forces this year. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
Well, joining me for a chat on this very subject right here on Rajya Sabha TV is Commodore C. Uday Bhaskar, Director, Society for Policy Studies. Good evening, Commodore, and thank you for joining us on the program. Much has been spoken about this Agni 5, and this is yet another feather in the cap for the DRDO. But what does it really mean as far as India's nuclear capability is concerned?
It's definitely a feather in the cap for the DRDO, the Defence Research and Development Organisation, and particularly, I think, for Dr. Avinash Chandar, as your reporter had pointed out. The significance, Frank, of this is that for India now, a 5,000-kilometer range missile will enhance India's strategic profile and the credibility of the delivery system. This is relevant in the context of India's overall nuclear posture, which is based on what is called as the NFU, or the no first use. This was the commitment made by Prime Minister Vajpayee in 1998. And if you look at the logic of deterrence, a country can very confidently say that it would be committed to no first use only if it has complete confidence in its own capability to be able to deliver a nuclear warhead across a certain range with the appropriate navigation and the accuracy. Agni 5 demonstrates all these capabilities, and what it does is, in the classical sense, to provide that deterrence. It deters a potential adversary and ensures that India's overall strategic profile is not in any way challenged or threatened. So I would rate the Agni 5 as complementing and enhancing India's overall strategic profile.
You know, Commodore, people have already started speaking about taking it to a level further and talking about, a range of 7,500 kilometers and beyond. Do you think that's feasible right now? Should we be speaking about it right now, or is it too early?
You know, Frank, every time you look at India's nuclear program and the assertions that have been made by different parts of the government, whenever you go to a conference abroad, you have these interlocutors who pull out a press cutting and say, so and so in India said, next missile, 8,000 kilometers, next step, 10,000 kilometers, and I think they have even peaked at 12,000 kilometers. But that having been said, personally as an analyst, I would say that India should consolidate the Agni 5 capability at 5,000 kilometers because it provides the kind of deterrence that we are seeking. And concurrently, I noticed that your reporter spoke about the second strike capability, that the fact that the Agni 5 is on a canister gives it a certain mobility. But the true and classic second strike capability is derived from sea, the submarine-launched ballistic missile. And as you are aware, India has invested in the Arihant, which is our first indigenously designed and produced nuclear submarine. The nuclear submarine becomes effective and your second strike at sea acquires credibility when you have the right kind of submarine-launched ballistic missile, the SLBM.
Right.
So my own, if you ask me, preference or suggestion would be that you consolidate Agni 5 and refine your SLBM capability, which will be a very, very complex technological task.
Indeed. And as far as Agni 5 is concerned, Commodore, do you think that, it was the perfect parting gift to give the outgoing DRDO chief?
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at the contribution made by Dr. Avinash Chandar, he has been in many ways the missile man. If you recall, we used to use this particular term for our former president, Dr. Abdul Kalam, who in the early years, and this is just part of the historical record, that the missile program started in 1983. It was called the Integrated Guided Missile Development Program. And Dr. Kalam had a very, very important role to play in the early decades. From then onwards, I think Dr. Avinash Chandar in many ways has taken the baton and ensured that India has been endowed with this capability. So I think it's a very appropriate parting gift, as it were, and an acknowledgement of his very significant contribution to the program and this particular missile in particular.
All right, Commodore, we'll have to leave it at that. Thank you so much, Commodore Uday Bhaskar, for joining us on the program and putting things into perspective for us and sharing your views on that very crucial subject. Moving on now, of course, the BJP star campaigner, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, entered the campaign trail for the Delhi Assembly polls today. Addressing a rally in East Delhi, Modi said Delhi had the potential to become a global city, and that's why it was important for Delhiites to vote for a majority government. But his main attack was on the Aadmi party, even though he didn't name it even once.
नरेंद्र मोदी, नरेंद्र मोदी, नरेंद्र मोदी, भारत माता की ताली की गड़गड़ाहट से अभिनंदन करेंगे हमारे बीच में देश के।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi got a rousing welcome as he arrived to address a rally in East Delhi. As Modi began his address to woo Delhi's voters, it was clear who his main target was. Even though he did not name the Aadmi party openly, he did attack them and their 49-day rule in the national capital.
एक साल पहले जिन सपनों को लेकर के दिल्ली के लोगों ने मतदान किया था, उन्हीं लोगों ने आपके पीठ पे छुरा भोंका, आपके सपनों को चूर-चूर कर दिया, आपको अस्थिरता में झोंक दिया।
He also did not fail to remind the people of US President Barack Obama's visit to India. He termed the visit successful, saying world leaders are now looking at India with renewed respect.
विश्व के बड़े-बड़े देश के मेहमान हिंदुस्तान आना पसंद करते हैं। मैं तो हैरान हूं, कुछ लोग विवाद खड़ा कर रहे थे ओबामा को लेकर के। जो हमारे आलोचक हैं, मैं उनको पूछना चाहता हूं, अगर ओबामा आए और 26 जनवरी के कार्यक्रम के सिवाय कुछ न हुआ होता, नमस्ते नमस्ते करके चले गए होते तो ये विरोधी हमारे लोग हमारी चमड़ी उधेड़ देते कि नहीं उधेड़ देते।
Modi also praised BJP's chief ministerial candidate Kiran Bedi, saying she would prove to be an able administrator. Bedi, meanwhile, promised the voters that she would follow in the Prime Minister's footsteps if voted to power.
रेडियो टॉक जैसे हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी मन की बात करते हैं, आपकी चीफ मिनिस्टर दिल की बात करेगी। दिल की बात हर महीने आपको बताया जाएगा कि हमने क्या क्या किया महिला सुरक्षा के लिए। साथियों, मैं यही कहूंगी, अब हमने सबका विकास सबका साथ, हमने दिल्ली के विकास को सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट से अपने प्रधानमंत्री जी के विकास के सपने के साथ जोड़ना है, उसको तोड़ना नहीं है, उसको जोड़ना है।
BJP President Amit Shah also addressed the same rally, reminding people that the previous government in Delhi had been more interested in protests and dharnas. He asked the people how such a government could effectively govern. With inputs from Pranav Goswami and Anu Diwan, Bureau Report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, 24/7 affordable power-free Wi-Fi across the city and installation of 10 lakh CCTV cameras for women's security and just some of the features of the Aam Aadmi Party manifesto for the Delhi Assembly elections release today. And as expected, a barrage of criticism from opposition parties followed. Here's a report.
A 70-point manifesto from the Aam Aadmi Party, symbolic perhaps of the 70 seats in the Delhi Assembly, promising all-round development of the capital. A focus on women's security, full statehood, reduction of electricity tariff and clean drinking water for the city are just some of the highlights. Once again, Party Chief Arvind Kejriwal played on keeping our promises line.
आम आदमी पार्टी के लिए हमारा मैनिफेस्टो एक तरह से बहुत पवित्र डॉक्यूमेंट है। ये हमारे लिए गीता की तरह है, ये हमारे लिए बाइबल की तरह है, ये हमारे लिए कुरान की तरह है, ये हमारे लिए गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब की तरह है। पिछली बार भी हम लोगों ने जो कुछ कहा 49 दिनों में वो करके दिखाया। अब भी जो हम कह रहे हैं वो हम करेंगे।
Kejriwal said it took 4 months to prepare the manifesto after consulting various sections of society. Among the main features in the Aam Aadmi Party's promise paper for Delhi, reduction in electricity tariff and clean water supply, free Wi-Fi zone in Delhi, women's safety by installing CCTV cameras, 24-hour power at half the price and ensure water in every house for 2 hours. Fight for full statehood of Delhi. The Aam Aadmi Party claims its brand of politics is positive and is the solution to taking the city in the right direction.
पहली बार एक मैनिफेस्टो है जो दिल्ली की लगभग हर समस्या के बारे में जनता के पास अपनी योजना रख रहा है। समयबद्ध होने में हमने सोचा है कि हम जल्द से जल्द करेंगे।
पहले दिन से दिल्ली की जनता को आम आदमी पार्टी की नीयत और उसके रवैये में और उसकी चाल ढाल में काम दिखेगा। पहले दिन से ये दिखेगा कि ये सरकार कितनी प्रतिबद्ध है जनता के प्रति काम करने के लिए, अपने मैनिफेस्टो के प्रति कितनी प्रतिबद्ध है।
As expected, the opposition has slammed the manifesto as unrealistic, saying essential questions on funding are left unanswered. Some even call it a recipe for a repetition of last year's short-lived government.
The Aap Party thinks they can fool all the people all the time, but clearly they can't. This is an absolute mockery of a manifesto. Every time they come up with promise after promise as if to say they are going to deliver. But look at the situation. In 49 days of being in power, they didn't even raise the issue of the Lokpal. They didn't even work towards it. They talk about women's security. Their own law minister was instrumental in atrocities towards women. What are they talking about?
मालूम है कि हमको शासन नहीं चलाना और प्रशासन का अनुभव नहीं है, वो ऐसी बात करेंगे। लोगों को गुमराह नहीं होना चाहिए। कोई भी सरकार किसी भी जगह ये सब चीजें मुफ्त नहीं दे सकती, न केंद्र की सरकार न राज्य की सरकार।
For this election, the Aam Aadmi Party has repackaged its trademark Mohalla Sabhas into Delhi dialogue, looking to draw up a broader vision for all of the capital. Polling on the 7th and results on the 10th of February will decide how effective it's been. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
Well, the BJP Aam Aadmi Party fight shows every sign of getting murkier as polling day nears. From a poster war, both parties have now shifted gears to a verbal spat on alleged sexist remarks and more.
The BJP has filed a complaint against Aam Aadmi Party leader Kumar Vishwas with the Election Commission. The party alleges that Vishwas made remarks against their chief ministerial candidate Kiran Bedi that were sexist and derogatory. However, the Aam Aadmi Party leader has denied the allegation and gone a step further, demanding proof. Vishwas even posted a video of the rally where he allegedly made the remark, saying he had made no such comment.
मुझे लगता है किरण बेदी जी के लिए किसी भी प्रकार की अभद्र भाषा का इस्तेमाल करने का कोई सवाल ही नहीं पैदा होता है.
Kiran Bedi tweeted that she has filed a police complaint against the comment. Post the controversy, BJP has now called AAP an anti-woman party.
One has seen a repeated pattern of bad use of language, bad choice of words, and this has become almost the trademark style of the AAP party. We have complained to the Election Commission because we believe that you cannot be going on in a democracy.
Both BJP and AAP have drawn aggressive plans for Delhi Assembly elections that are just a week away. Elections for the 70-member Assembly will take place on February 7th. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, Congress's chief campaigner in Delhi, Ajay Makan, also addressed voters. He reminded the people of the work done by his party's government in the national capital in 15 years.
किसी भी सिटी में आप चले जाएं, कोटा स्टोन नजर आएगा. फ्लैट्स की अपग्रेडेशन शुरू हो गई है. अगर आप मल्टी स्टोरी में चले जाएं तो ग्रिड वॉश आपको होते हुए नजर आ जाएंगे. ये तब हुआ जब मैं अर्बन डेवलपमेंट मिनिस्टर था और 950 करोड़ रुपए की स्कीम, 950 करोड़ रुपए की स्कीम मैंने लागू कराई, जिसकी वजह से आज सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉइज के सारे फ्लैट्स का अपग्रेडेशन का काम शुरू हो रहा है.
Well, we'll slip into a short break now, but still to come. The US rejects Pakistan's criticism of the India-US nuclear deal. That and much more coming up. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha Television. Now, the Conference of Presiding Officers was inaugurated by the Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan in Lucknow today. Addressing the conference, Mahajan said it was important to make legislative assemblies technologically sound. She also stressed on the need for strengthening the federal structure and said politics should not come in the way of development in states. She said that the centre and state governments must work in tandem to ensure progress at all levels. The presiding officers of all state legislatures are participating in this two-day conference.
विधानसभा का स्पीकर, लोकसभा के, राज्यसभा के, विधान परिषद के, ये मिलकर के भी ये सोच सकते हैं कि सरकारें अलग हो सकती है, मगर मेरा इतना विश्वास है कि पार्टी अलग हो, मगर कोई भी पार्टी विकास के खिलाफ तो नहीं हो सकती.
लोकसभा सदस्य के रूप में और उत्तर प्रदेश विधानसभा में नेता सदन की भूमिका निर्वहन करते हुए मेरा अनुभव रहा है कि पीठासीन अधिकारी के धैर्य और त्याग के बिना सदन संचालन काफी मुश्किल हो जाता है.
Moving on, now the United States has rejected Pakistan's criticism on the Indo-US civil nuclear deal, justifying it as an understanding on an administrative arrangement for implementing the US-India nuclear cooperation agreement. US State Department spokesperson Jen Psaki said that the US had assured both India and Pakistan that its relationships with them is strong and they are vital to our strategic interests and they stand on their own. She also said that the US encourages a dialogue between India and Pakistan. The Obama administration has also said that relationship of the US with India and Pakistan stand on their own and is not linked to each other. And some more international news now. The death toll in yesterday's mosque blast in Pakistan is up to 61,000. Staged protests in Sindh province's Shikarpur town today against rising terror in the country, even as UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon came down hard on Pakistan, asking it to do more against the menace.
Pakistan mourns the death of Friday's deadly blast on Shikarpur's Shia mosque that killed at least 61 people and left many injured. The suicide blast had taken place as hundreds of worshippers gathered to attend Friday's prayer. Thousands of protesters held protests across the Shikarpur town against the attack and chanted slogans for arrest of the perpetrators.
हमारा सिर्फ एक ही मुतालबा है कि पाक फौज पूरे सिंध में, बल्कि कराची से लेकर पेशावर तक, गिलगित बल्तिस्तान तक ऑपरेशन ज़र्ब-ए-अज़ब का आगाज करे, ताकि इन पाकिस्तान, इस्लाम और इंसानियत के दुश्मनों को पाकिस्तान से खत्म किया जा सके.
Authorities suspended an SHO and a constable of the area for negligence and arrested another person. United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon called on Pakistan to step up efforts to protect religious minorities and combat terrorism. In a statement issued by his spokesperson, Ban Ki-moon said, and I quote, "He's appalled by such vicious targeting of people on account of their religious affiliation," unquote. Sunni militant group Jundullah claimed responsibility for the attack. Human Rights Watch says over 1,000 Shia Muslims have been killed in the past 2 years in Pakistan, with many of the attacks claimed by the hardline Sunni group Lashkar-e-Jhangvi. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Moving on to some sports news now. Serena Williams won her 19th Grand Slam title today as she won her 6th Australian Open singles title. The world number one player defeated Maria Sharapova with a commanding 6-3, 7-6 scoreline.
A rain delay, intermittent coughing in between games, and a dominant world number one player Serena Williams. This is what defined the first set of the women's singles final at the Australian Open. Williams was still recovering from a recent cold as she walked in for the title match, but there was not even a moment of doubt about her form as she continued her decade-long dominance of world number 2 Maria Sharapova. She clinched the largely one-sided first set 6-3. The 33-year-old Williams, the oldest winner of the Australian women's title in the Open era, won the first 6 points of the second set and seemed on course for another lopsided victory before Sharapova clawed her way back into the match. Sharapova saved a match point in the 10th game, hitting a forehand winner down the line and twice held serve to stay in the match. But Williams did not even look mildly rattled. She fired 15 over 18 aces in the second set, including one on her third match point to seal it.
You know, standing here with 19 championships is something I never thought would happen. You know, I went on the courts with just a ball and a racket and a hope, and that's all I had.
I got to congratulate Serena on creating history, on playing some of her best tennis. It's really an honor playing against her. I haven't beaten her in a really long time, but I love every time that I step on the court to play against her because she's been the best. And as a tennis player, you want to play against the best. So congratulations on an incredible achievement.
Williams has now won 16 in a row and is 17-2 in career matches against Sharapova, who hasn't won a head-to-head meeting since 2004. Williams is now second only to Steffi Graf on the list of major winners in the Open era. Graf has 22 Grand Slam titles to her name. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
More sports-related news now. The 35th National Games opened with a colourful opening ceremony in Thiruvananthapuram today. A visual and sound extravaganza unfolded in front of a packed Greenfield Stadium. Urban Development Minister M. Venkaiah Naidu declared the Games open. Cricketing legend Sachin Tendulkar is the Goodwill Ambassador for the 2015 Games, while the flame was lit by legendary athletes P.T. Usha and Anju Bobby George. Kerala showcased its cultural diversity at the opening ceremony. From dancers in colourful costumes to musicians playing traditional instruments, it was a display of the best that the state has to offer. The Games will end on the 14th of February. 11,500 athletes will compete for the 1,200 medals at stake. I'm going to leave you tonight with visuals from the opening ceremony. Enjoy. Good night.